Hello and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. This is going to be our Game 2 of the Best of 3 series between Bned Plus 5 and House of Gamers in the Division 1/2 playoffs. I'm Grandis V, as you saw in game number 1, but this game I'm joined by Mike Loris.
And of course, this one's going to be like 10 minutes long and it's going to be really fun. And you get the 50-minute long game with the Naga Siren because that's just the way it goes. We do see Meepo being banned out. I didn't catch the first pick phase of the last game. Was Meepo banned out here as well, or is this just new respect for Excalibur?
It was completely ignored. Yeah, I think it's just a respect ban for Excalibur. There's not a great reason to leave the Meepo in the pool. I think the reason that they did was because House of Gamers picked up the Wisp very early on, which usually means Excalibur's playing Tiny. So yeah, it makes sense that it's banned out. The first picks coming out in this stage is going to be Bned Plus 5 getting their hands on Viper and Shadow Demon, and House of Gamers staying at Brewmaster and Scarth Mage. These first 4 picks would not look amiss in 6.81.
Yeah, it looks pretty normal right now. I mean, Faceless Void, Mirana, just more overall strong heroes being banned out, but not aside with any sense of direction. This is going to be, I think the loser of this is guaranteed a spot in Division 2. So right now they're fighting for 1 spot in Division 1, and this is loser bracket as well, so they don't really get a second chance. So House of Gamers 1 game away from being just a little bit closer, but still being in loser bracket, have quite a long way to go. Tidehunter and Leshrac being the final bans out. Leshrac kind of weird, haven't seen him in the new patch just yet, but partnering up with the Shadow Demon, it always has been a devastating combination, and this patch is no different.
Yeah, I usually like seeing Kunkka a little bit more with Shadow Demon, and Mirana, your first hero that comes to mind, Mirana banned out, and Kunkka is still available. Wouldn't be opposed to seeing that from Bned Plus 5, but I'm not sure if that's what they have in mind. The Shadow Demon right now is more or less just there for defensive disruptions up against the Scarth Mage ulti, as well as the Brewmaster. I don't know, things like that. The Wraith King is going to be picked up by House of Gamers, still a really standard all-around hero. Brewmaster is going to offer them some good mid-game team fights. Scarth Mage and Wraith King, a pretty potent roaming duo on their own. Or one of them could be taking up a farming role. Right now, they're fairly flexible as far as their lanes are concerned.
And Bned Plus 5, they're going to want to pick up a Shadow Demon combination. You said Kunkka still in the pool. I would like to see that, but even though Kunkka Shadow Demon is really strong, when you're dealing with Brewmasters and Wraith Kings, those heroes are generally a little bit too tanky for a Kunkka Shadow Demon to really take down, unless the third person in that combination is doing a ton of damage. Viper can do it, but so far Bned Plus 5 have yet to pick up a really solid third hero to go with that. So the combinations for Bned Plus 5 are going to have to be doing a lot of damage because House of Gamers simply are so tanky, and the ban out of Mirana is going to be really crippling for them. It would have been pretty much the best hero for Bned Plus 5 to have, but instead they're going to be sitting back for a little bit, waiting. They are up against a Skywrath Mage. Maybe Pugna is a little bit more attractive in this scenario, but really any hero that does damage and partners up with Shadow Demon is going to be the pickup. I want to see Alina. I haven't seen her yet in the new patch, or really recently, so I'm going to hold out for a Alina pick, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd love to see the Lina too. I was about to say something about that. Sand King is also a pretty solid combo with the Shadow Demon. I don't know, probably more likely than the Lina, but yeah, I don't know. Bned Plus 5, it's their choice. They're going to angle their draft in one way or another with this pick. Or maybe they just pick up the Shadow Demon combo. Yeah, they're eating through a lot of their reserve time, so whatever it is, it's going to be picked up very soon.
All right, so against these heroes from House Gamers, it's really hard to pick up anything solid for Bned Plus 5. A Lion would be nice for the fast Hex, but again, not really the best synergy with the Shadow Demon there. Doom is going to be the pickup, in fact. Doom on the offensive is going to be really useful against Brewmaster and the Skywrath Mage. On the defensive, he can't really do much of anything once the split happens and the damage from House Gamers comes through. Doom is very tanky, so he'll probably survive that, but he can't really do anything if he is on the defensive, which is just, in general, one of the weaknesses of the hero.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be an offlane Doom for Bned Plus 5, but then again, it could be safe lane farming as well. The Viper and the Doom can kind of be juggled around in the lanes. House of Gamers, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to pick up here. There's a lot of different directions they could go in. Tinker hasn't been banned out. It was in the first game, and they might want to go for that. Excalibur's Tinker is definitely something to be feared. He's been nerfed a lot. But if you go for the 4-4-0 build on Tinker, which I feel is the stronger one as of now, you can do a lot of work globally ganking. You can TP to those Brewmaster minions inside the teamfight. Scarth Mage amplifying that damage also makes it pretty potent, although the Dagon and the Ethereal Blade nerfs also hurt the ganking Tinker as well. So So I don't know, could be an option for them. I'm not sure where House of Gamers want to angle their draft. Right now, they could pretty much go for whatever hero they want to go for.
Yeah, and against Doom and Viper, you are going to need a little bit more damage. Right now, most of the damage is in the hands of the Scarith Mage and Wraith King Brewmaster, mostly on interference, going to be trying to peel people away and distract them in the meantime. Unless Wraith King is going to be played as a core, which right now I'm not too sure how much I like that. Just being up against Viper makes Wraith King as a core just so much more unattractive because he will be kited around by poison. And unless he has a quick basher or something like that, he's going to really struggle, and there's no real way to get around that. So I would like to see House of Gamers pick up just someone with a little bit more damage, try to cut through that Doom a little bit earlier on. Terrorblade is in the pool, though against Doom, not exactly the best matchup you really want to have. I don't know. Wraith King support, I think at this point, is the safest way for House of Gamers to go, and then just pick up, hell, even just Tiny Wisp again. That could work.
It definitely could. That would bump the Scarith Mage into the mid position, but that could also work for them. I don't know, it's going to be an Ancient Apparition, so one of these heroes is going to be played core Scarith or Wraith King. Right now it's looking towards a Wraith King core in the aggressive tri-lane, or in the tri-lane, with Ancient Apparition and Scarith Mage. It's a pretty potent tri-lane. Their lockdown is pretty much all focused in that Wraithfire Blast, but they have plenty of damage in order to burst somebody down in that duration of the stun.
Yeah, the only problem with the tri-lane that they have right now is that they're most likely going to be facing up against a Shadow Demon, but a Spectre pickup. I did not expect this one coming from Bennett +5. With Doom Viper, you're usually going to gear yourself more towards the early stages. They can go late, and with the Spectre pickup, they're going to be forced to go late. It's not a terrible pick, but it's definitely going to be punished. Even though they do have the Shadow Demon to protect the Spectre, it's hard to keep her alive against this combination of heroes from House of Gamers.
Yeah, it really is. Bennett +5 are just going to drag the game out as long as possible, and House of Gamers are more than likely going aggressive now that they see that Spectre pick, and their fifth hero is probably going to be one that's going to synergize with that timing, as there's no reason to try and go late up against a Bennett +5's lineup. If you pick a really hard farming core, you're going to run into a Doom and a Spectre, and that's a recipe for disaster. So yeah, I think maybe just go incredibly aggressive with a pushing hero, maybe even a Korgic hero. Pugna's still in the pool. Death Prophet would probably be the one that they'd want most, but that's not available. So yeah, I think it's just going to be an aggressive choice from House of Gamers. Maybe they just get a hero that's going to enable them to fight a lot more. Centaur would have been nice, but that's already banned out.
Then at that point, House of Gamers, they just need a offlane hero that could offer that fight and be aggressive. Clockwork, I'm not sure if that's really what they want to go for, because they do have two other melee cores, and that's a little bit dangerous. I think we're going to be seeing something a little bit different from House of Gamers. They could just go for something like a solo lane Weaver and have an aggressive tri-lane, and that would be no, not that good. Again, Doom, you have to respect that possibility, but it's going to be that Tinker that you were talking about. So now the lanes from House of Gamers gets a little bit weirder. I think it's going to be probably Brewmaster bottom, Tinker mid, and then the rest of the heroes up top. It's not terrible, although Spectre is really good at hunting down Tinkers.
Yeah. It's not going to be a late game Tinker by any stretch of the imagination. I'm looking for like a super aggressive ganking Tinker. We didn't get to see that very much in the last patch, but I think the recent changes are going to make that a lot more attractive. And a Night Stalker, holy cow, Bennett +5. That completely comes out of left field. Let's see. Jungle, Doom, defensive, or just defensive support Shadow Demon, Night Stalker mid versus the Tinker, Viper farming, Spectre farming? I don't know how this is going to work. Is this going to be a position for roaming Night Stalker?
I have no freaking clue. Maybe just a jungling Doom, but this last pick of the Night Stalker, I love it because I think this hero needs to see more play, but it doesn't work very well with the Spectre. It's great for buying her time, but with the Spectre, you want to just take it late, and Night Stalker late, he is still a powerful hero. Like global, or mostly global vision with an Aghanim's Darkness is pretty good and everything, but he does fall off come to the later stages. So Bennett +5, these 4 picks are just going to be protecting the Spectre, whereas they could have been ending the game with the Spectre being someone else who peaks a little bit earlier. Someone like a Morphling even would have been a bit better. So Bennett +5, they're going to run with a very weird lineup. It doesn't really all fit in one idea, I don't think, but still, they are just a lot of potent heroes in their own right, so they could get a lot of value off of that if they play their cards right.
Yep, and the Bened +5 lineup is going to be made up of JDL3 playing in the Night Stalker, played to support Venge last game, so I think this is a position for Night Stalker that's just going to be roaming. Shadow Demon is going to be played by Blacks, just going full support since they did go boots first on Night Stalker. Johnny Krypton playing on the Spectre, mid Viper going to be handled by IDFC, and safe lane Doom played by Jinx God. A very peculiar last pick from Bened +5. I'll let you introduce House of Gamers.
All right, well, we're going to see Ancient Apparition being played by a Moment. Key is going to be on the Skywrath Mage, also supporting. Wraith King is going to be handled by Slash Strike, all three of those up on top lane. Excalibur is going to be handling the Tinker, and that leaves on the Brewmaster. I have no idea, but it's too late. We're going to call him Brewmaster, I guess.
I just called him SLHZ last game. I think that's probably the best way to say it, but I don't know. It's
too long.
Yeah.
Well, Brewmaster might get jumped here. Blacks and JDL3 placed a very aggressive Observe Ward, but they're missing a third hero, so even if they do disrupt this Brewmaster, they can't kill him off. They're going to spot the fact that he's there, but I don't think they could actually kill this Brewmaster. Night Stalker as a ganker, I mean, Void is a pretty nice nuke, especially later on when it's level 4. But aside from that, Spectre can offer very little to this, as can Shadow Demon as far as the damage output is concerned. So this isn't really going to go well. And on top lane, we do see Jinx God get initiated upon. Concussive Shot already used. The stun is going to be there as well. Chilling Touch already up. And this is going to be first blood for sure. Jinx God is going to die to a Moment.
Yep. The kill on bottom still hasn't been attempted. Blacks as well as JDL3 just kind of sitting awkwardly. Brewmaster thinks that something's up, and he's right. He's going to bump straight into JDL3, and maybe wasn't privy to the fact that they're here. They're going to drop the Void, and it's going to slow him for a little bit. Disruption also buys a little bit more time, but I don't think they have enough damage. They don't get the perfect block off from the creeps, and even if they did, Tangas would have kept SLHZ alive, and that's going to be all she wrote. I don't see this Night Stalker doing jack for Bened +5.
This is going to be like the least scary Night Stalker of all time, because he's a hero that needs levels. That's why we often see him in the solo mid position or even solo safe lane farming, but this time he's only going to be level 1 and maybe even level 3 by the time first nighttime comes. Jinx God up on top is once again going to be initiated upon. He's going to try to dig his way through the trees, but this last right click from the AA is going to kill him off. Somehow Ancient Apparition has been taking all the kills up on top, but Bened +5, they're very handily losing the top lane. Bottom lane is farming well, but these two supports, again, aren't doing anything. Mid lane, though, is actually going very well for the Viper. Excalibur is struggling, even though he does have the laser mischance.
Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of to be expected. It's one of the worst lanes for Tinker to deal with. He's going to get a couple more CS under his tower, maybe. He misses one. It's not expected that the Tinker wins, but the bottom as well as, I don't know, top lanes are just going so well for HOG. SLHG is at least getting his levels, which is all he really needs here, and well, there is going to be a kill in the Viper in mid lane as Tinker notches that one. He is going, at least in the early portions of the game, for the laser as well as missiles, and that's enough in order to get that. Wraith King gets a kill in the tier 1 tower up on top. There's nothing that the Doom can do to counter push this, and Jinx God is probably just going to be dropped into the jungle. Doom's not going to have an impact at all. He does have the comeback mechanic of Devour, but that's not enough to make him relevant this game. Bened +5 are going to be running with two heroes that are more or less dead weight, and a Spectre that's going to be dead weight until she gets items.
And then at that point, Shadow Demon Viper versus 5 heroes. I don't like those odds for Shadow Demon Viper, but who knows? They might be able to make something happen. Maybe right now as JDL3, level 2 Night Stalker, level 1 Shadow Demon. Initiation on the Tinker. The Doom is here with an Ensnare as well, and Excalibur's going to be netted down. The damage is going to come through from the Viper, but Black's also taking a lot of damage. Excalibur going to live for a little bit longer than I thought, but he will go down in the end. So far, a 1-for-1 trade. Concussive's going to fly onto IDFC. No follow-up damage, though. A Moment doesn't have any more Chilling Touch, and Skywrath Mage is only level 2. So they do get a kill on the Tinker, and it's a worthwhile kill for Bened +5 for sure, especially since this Night Stalker just needs more levels. Getting any sort of experience from any source is going to be crucial.
Yeah, the Tinker is the one that they'd love to kill most of all, so even though it's 4-1, that kill is going to be very crucial for Bened +5 to get back into this game. It's actually not going as bad as it was early on. You have a Wraith King that's getting pretty much all of the farm that he could want, especially since he got the tower last hit. He's currently getting that room up in top. Yeah, and now down in bottom, we might have a little bit of a rumble here. SLHC is level 4. He has some support backup, but he's going to get gone on by the disruption. They're wrapping around, and with the curse, they're doing quite a bit of damage on SLHC. He has some backup, but I think the Brewmaster's still going to die, or will he before JDL3 falls? JDL3 is going to be the first one to die, and now Johnny Krypton is going to be the next to fall. SLHC is still surviving and won't tick down. Does he have any poison charges? He doesn't, and will survive completely. 2 kills going the way of HOG. In the meantime, Tinker in mid gets a kill onto the Viper without dying himself. Will he die to the creeps? He will! Viper gets a kill with the tick damage. Oh, that Tinker Tinker went for the March. That was ballsy, to say the least. Just expecting he had enough regen to get through that, but it was not so.
Well, too bad for the Tinker. Regardless, the rest of his team is doing so well, so getting the still favorable trade for the Tinker because he did get the kill and then die is going to be him a little bit more upset because he did die a semi-embarrassing death, but the corrosive skin might have killed him off even if the creeps weren't attacking him. I don't know. It would have been really close either way, so HOG, they're sitting pretty in this game. Their Brewmaster is doing okay, not getting the most farm in the world, but he's still contributing a hell of a lot more than the Night Stalker, Shadow Demon. And this is the first nighttime phase, and Night Stalker isn't really going to be doing anything. He has no Hunter in the night, has a silence for Excalibur. He's going to slow him down as well, but really these two support heroes don't do any damage, and it's going to be up to IDFC to take the kill on Excalibur. The poison is going to kill him off, but the Brewmaster crit is going to return the kill. Once again, it's a 1-for-1 trade over on the mid lane, and unfortunately the Night Stalker and Shadow Demon both backed out of there, so they don't get any experience from that.
Yeah, I don't know, it is unfortunate. The Tinker is playing incredibly aggressively just on the Razor's Edge. He's almost playing brilliantly, but, I don't know, horseshoes and hand grenades. He's dying a little bit more than you'd like to see your Tinker die. But still, 8-3. It's looking pretty good for House of Gamers. Jinx God falling low in the jungle. He's going to be working towards the mechanism for his team. Can you even do that on Doom anymore? I'm going to say no. He won't have mana for Doom and the mech in team fights unless he has Arcane Boots, and even then, maybe another pair of Arcane Boots pop by his supports.
Yeah, because right now, if he had a mech, he would be using all of his mana to do so, and Doom is actually a pretty expensive skill as far as Doom's mana pool is concerned, and well, you also want to be able to use Scorched Earth, and ideally you want to be War Stomping as well, so this Doom is going to be absolutely broke in the mana pool department. Shadow Demon nowhere close to mana boots as he doesn't even have regular boots, so there's going to be no support for this Doom in order to get his mech off, and well, it's still going to be a long time before he gets that item, so they're going to have a little bit more time to farm up something, but really this Night Stalker is pretty much the least scary Night Stalker I've ever seen ever. And he's not going to get any scarier, but the Ancient Apparition, he's going to be getting a lot more terrifying. He has a Hand of Midas. This is a guaranteed Aghanim Scepter in this game, eventually.
Yeah, and it's at 6 minutes for a support Ancient Apparition. He's 3-0-2, and he got all the last hits up on top. He got the first blood gold, which is why he's able to get this Midas, since he's not farming very fast. But yeah, that's going to be an Aghanim Scepter and a level 11 secured probably before 30 minutes. That's probably a little underestimating the power of the Midas even, but if he continues on this same path, it's going to be incredibly fast for his support. Yeah, despite Excalibur dying a couple of times, and he might die again, they only have the Night Stalker as well as the Shadow Demon in mid currently. Yeah, Night Stalker is level 3. It doesn't actually matter that he's here. I don't know, I've seen roaming Night Stalker work, but you have to get those early kills, and you really need something not Shadow Demon to pair with it. As Shadow Demon, he can get you in range, but that's not going to allow you to get that damage. You need another Disable or something along those lines. Currently, the Viper is going to rotate back towards mid. Excalibur needs to be careful. He's not going to fully commit for the Laser Rockets build, which I would have liked to see. He has a Haste Rune in his bottle, so he's going to feel fairly comfortable here. He is going to be going for March. The stacks don't work on the Ancients anymore, but he still can farm up his large camps, which aren't actually stacked fully. It'll still help him defensively if they're going to try to dive him, as it's still going to do a lot of damage to heroes and allow him to push out lanes. It's a safer build for Tinker, although I would have liked to see him go more aggressively. IDFC going to be tagged with the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, maybe not expecting that as the laser comes through. Excalibur being chased down by a Spectre, and the poison damage is very immense, and it will be enough to bring down the Tinker. Mid, they're going to chase down Skywrath Mage. He's being dived under tower by Johnny Krypton, getting killed there as well. Spectre finding a lot of gold with Phase as well as the Bracer. This Spectre is pretty relevant. The Wraith King, we haven't seen him for a long time, but Slash Strike does now have the Blink Dagger. It's a win for Bennett +5. It's still not in their favor, however, as far as the entire game is concerned.
Slash Strike looking to make initiation happen on the mid lane. Brewmaster should be teleporting in. However, he has his hands full with the bottom lane. Another Ice Blast going to come in, and Blacks is pretty much dead. There he goes. Slash Strike waiting for another Wraithfire Blast. He's going to level up his crit on the way there. Jabane Zero should be the target right now, but if he does use the Wraithfire Blast, I mean, he has no more reincarnation. Might be worth it at this point, although he might just dive into the tier 2s, try to get that slow going. They're not actually hitting Slash Strike, and that's really smart. Jinx God's going to try to turn around and fight the Brewmaster. Not a good idea. There's the split, and now Jinx God is going to take quite a bit of damage, gets put into the bubble, so he will be safe for a little while longer. But I think there's going to be too much damage as he is going to try to escape. Not going to be lucky enough. Jabane Zero off to the side. Going to be trying to hide up from Slash Strike, but the reincarnation has popped. Now a Wraithfire Blast is imminent. There it is on Jabane Zero. Big crit. More right clicks, and there's the death of the Night Stalker. Slash Strike, though, is in the most awkward position imaginable as he's just going to try to TP out of here. Is there a disruption? Is there anything? There isn't. That's going to be 2 kills in favor of House of Gamers, and losing the Doom is pretty much the worst thing that could happen aside from losing a Viper. But either way, oh, Doom is actually, they have some communication issues. There's 2 mechs in the works, but either way, it's going to be a win for House of Gamers. And yeah, going back to that Night Stalker point you were making before, Shadow Demon and Night Stalker isn't a great combination. How sweet would it be if Shadow Demon was Lina instead?
I'd like the combination a lot more. You can set up for the LSA pretty solidly with the slow coming out from the Void, and I don't know, it would be a very fun, aggressive combo to watch. Disruption down in bottom, a moment's going to take a lot of damage, but it gets the Ice Blast before coming through, and now they're going to lose Blacks as well as Johnny Krypton. A valiant exchange for the, Ancient Apparition in a vacuum. Well, Spectre is still pretty darn tanky with the extra stats he has, but he's just going to be caught in a corner. Tinker drops very low while picking up a stack, I believe. There wasn't much else going on during the time, and now they might be able to find themselves a Jane Zero. He is in a little nook inside the trees, gets the Void off on the Slash Strike. No ultimate available. He has a Wraithfire Blast and probably is going to turn and throw it before falling. Doom is not going to be used. He is mid-animation. The stun comes out from Slash Strike. He's caught inside the trees. Jane Zero doesn't have another Tango to get through these, and Slash Strike just going to man fight before he falls. They probably didn't need to commit all of the heroes in order to do so, but they get the kill in the end. So it's still going to be a worthwhile trade for them. It is going to be a pause. I believe that's pause, not postpone, please. But yeah, Blink Dagger is up on the Brewmaster now. He did use the split previously, but another 30 seconds, we're going to have a Blink Clap split initiation online for SLHC.
And really, that's pretty much all that House Gamers need. The Tinker is really the only one who's struggling, I would say, on the House Gamer side. Has 4 deaths, which is most of the deaths for the team, and is very, very far away, in fact, from his travels. Nothing on the Courier, and Excalibur is not going to be able to travel around as Tinkers usually are going to want to do. It should be coming up at about 15 minutes unless he dies a whole bunch more times. But really the rest of House of Gamers are going to be more than enough to hold down the fort and just buy a little bit more time for this Tinker to get off the ground. And that's really where the nerfs come in. Tinker is going to struggle to get off the ground, especially since, as you said, they don't have any stacks to work with. They have half of a stack in the hard camp, but that's not much of anything. But regardless, the rest of the House Gamer side are doing so very well, and really Bennett +5, the Spectre's doing okay, the Viper's doing okay, but that's about it, and 2v5 is not good odds.
No, it's really not. Your Viper is going to suffer a similar fate to the Doom. It's not as bad for the mana pool of the Viper, since you have Arcane Boots on the team as well to sustain, and I don't know, you're not going to be using that many spells during the team fight. But yeah, mech completed by the Viper is going to be a nice tool for them. Doom gets the Arcane Boots, and I think he's not going to complete the mech at all. Potentially a pipe. Eventually, the magic damage coming out from HOG is pretty significant, but Jinx God's not going to have that for a long time. He'll probably be sitting on the headdress for the majority of this game. But yeah, we do have a Night Stalker that now has level 5, getting closer to his level 6. Not the most impactful level 6, although they are going to have that available. Double Smoke actually comes out. That's unfortunate. Jabane Zero as well as the Shadow Demon expending theirs in order to get this gank off, but I think it's going to succeed. With Flying Colors onto Excalibur, he's pushing out mid lane very aggressively, and there's wraparound. They do the Demonic Purge, and now the curse is going to land, and Excalibur did not stand a chance in hell. We are going to see an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast going up towards top, but it doesn't do anything. Excalibur is dying a whole heck of a lot. He might be feeling a little too comfortable on his Tinker, to be honest. After the changes, I don't think he's played it enough.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment. It's very easy to get lured into the fact that, hey, my hero that I love playing and I'm good at is going to be picked and I could play him very well. But the environment is a little bit different, and Tinker's been the only one who's really been applied pressure. Now teleporting to the mid lane, it's going to be Night Stalker obliterated. Then the rock being thrown in the way of the Viper. It will be dodged, but the Ice Blast will for the most part be dodged. Doom is still up in the air and he's still got the Frostbite applied to him. That doesn't make any sense. IDFC though, getting hit with the rock as he does mech up. It's too late to save his Shadow Demon though. He's going to try to turn around and try to kill off a moment. He probably will be successful in doing so. Drunken Haze, a little bit too late. There's the clap and the crits from Slash Strike, and to get that kill. Here comes Key from the side. Black's actually brought back into this game, and he's going to hit it with the full-on Mystic Flare. One more Arcane Bolt is going to kill him off, just barely. Key now on the run from the Spectre, who has arrived into this fight. Doom is also in the area, as well as the Night Stalker. They're going to kill off the Brewmaster. Key trying to deny himself to the Ancients, not going to happen, and it's going to be a whole bunch of kills returned by Bennett +5. Slash Strike does get away from that one, but the fight definitely a lot messier than I really would have thought, as it is going to be a 3-for-3 with a buyback from Bennett +5, but still not the best trade for House of Gamers when I thought they had an edge with that clap split.
Yeah, I thought it would go better for them, but still it's 4 deaths since it's a dieback on the Shadow Demon and you get more gold and experience out of the trade. It's not terrible. The Boots of Travel are going to come out from the Tinker at a decent timing, but last patch on a Radiant Tinker, you'd expect to have them already probably 2 minutes ago, to be honest. Mid-tier 1 tower is going to be glyphed. I'm not sure they can get the deny, but they're going to land an Ice Blast onto 2. There's no follow-up for this one, and they might be able to secure the last hit here. They do commit enough heroes in order to get the creeps off, and that is going to be some economic damage done the way of Bennett +5. They'd really like that extra gold on their Spectre. But yeah, Spectre currently with phase drums, it's not bad items at all for Spectre. The extra tank is going to really help her out, but the Spectre of this game is not going to be that late game hyper carry for at least another 30 minutes.
And even if that 30 minutes has passed, she's not going to be going for the Radiance route, which is pretty much the undisputed best item to have on your Spectre. She has a Blade of Alacrity, which to me indicates a Diffusal Blade. It's a fantastic item for Spectre if you know that you're going to be forced to fight early, as being able to sustain that chase with the Purges are going to be incredibly useful. And I believe you could also purge off the Drunken Haze of the Brewmaster, which is going to be awfully nice. So it's pretty much a budget build coming out from the Spectre. I think it's better to just go for the Hail Mary and try to get that Radiance up, because really the Diffusal Blade, although it is going to help, isn't really going to be enough when so many of your other heroes on the team are just dead weight.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet. It's, I don't know, just trying to salvage the situation where it's probably just the better bet to go full YOLO, and you might lose the game anyway if you go for the Radiance, but I think you're just setting yourself up for failure with this build. I don't know, if they win a couple of team fights with it, that might change my thoughts on the build, but yeah, we'll see. Tinker does have his Boots of Travel finished, and his global ganking presence is going to be pretty solid here. Level 11, 334 is the build for Excalibur, and he does pump out quite a bit of damage, but this Tinker is not a very scary Tinker by any stretch of the imagination. Black's very aggressive on bottom lane. I think he's just dead. Disruption is going to delay things, but it's just going to set up for the Ice Blast, which shoots him in the back. Ancient Apparition going to secure that kill, and now jump in from Keys on the backlines. He gets Viper Struck. He's between too many heroes. He drops the Mystic Flare with his dying breath. IDFC drop below half, and now with the blinking Wraith King, they're going to pursue onto IDFC, still silenced up in the crit for measure. Onto that Viper will secure the kill. Doom is under tower, and with Scorched Earth, they're probably not going to dive this. I might have spoken too soon. Wraith King going to take a couple of tower shots, but they won't be able to do much more than that. They'll be able to push into the tier 1 tower after that team fight win, I would say. They lose the Skywrath Mage, but they get 2 cores.
Yeah, losing Skywrath Mage isn't really a terribly huge deal. He was already in a precarious position to begin with in the side shop, and don't really know why Bennett +5 are going so aggressive there. I guess Black's just really wanted to set up for something because he's just itching to get some action somewhere along the map, but running straight into a Tinker, not a good plan. Of course, he didn't know that Tinker was there. Nighttime Vision not cooperating with Bennett +5, despite the fact that they have a Night Stalker. Kind of counterintuitive. Now they're going to jump right in for Black's round 2. Shadow Demon might get himself a disruption. No, it's not even going to be in time. Their damage is too high. Wraith King and Brewmaster now trying to split. They will probably both escape. Wraith King has a TP. He's going to get haunted upon, but he does blink out before the Spectre can actually do damage, but they're going to jump right back down to the Brewmaster. The Doom has been committed, and with the dagger, they should be able to take down this Brewmaster. Maybe an Ancient Deny? No. These Lizards are not going to kill off anyone today. It's going to be the kill going the way of the Spectre. A little bit more gold towards her Diffusal Blade. It's going to go a long way.
Yeah. A win for HOG. The Shadow Demon, all said and done, is going to be happy with that trade, despite dying a multitude of times. Excalibur spamming at the march and keeping the lanes pushed. Tinker's still annoying to deal with. It's not as bad anymore. He is finally off the ground, though. An Urn on your Night Stalker. This Night Stalker, I don't think, is ever going to be relevant. Even when you see it in a core position, that second nighttime is just so important, and it didn't work for Bennett +5. A 0, 3, and 5 Night Stalker is not something to be scared of, especially when it's only level 8, 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and the only way I could see him becoming relevant at all is if he picks up an Aghanim Scepter, in which case you give him a gem, and then he's just going to be a giant observer / sentry ward, which is not exactly what you want to have from your Night Stalker, but at the same time, they can't really get anything else. Maybe if he goes for something like a Halberd, he could offer some utility or be the Vlad's holder or something for the team. Just try to keep Spectre alive, but he's not going to be doing any damage, and he's probably not going to be tanking very much damage either, so Night Stalker is going to be pretty much dead hero, as he might actually just become a dead hero right now. Missiles are going to fly. Night Stalker is going to survive, and Key actually taking one too many tower shots. He's going to go down, killed just by the tower, which is also going to be denied. No, Wraith King's going to jump forward, wants to stun the Night Stalker, but he gets silenced. This is going to be reincarnation almost for sure, as Jabane Zero is going to pop the Nighttime Darkness. Slash Strike still going to town. There's the slow from the reincarnation. Missile's going to fly, but it will be denied by the Shadow Demon. They're going to try to go for the Viper now. Slash Strike right back up, and SLHC off to the side, going to try to kill off Jabane Zero. IDFC is going to be the first one to fall. Viper down, but Brewmaster on the sidelines is doomed up. And teleportation coming in from the Tinker once again. Doom in an awkward position. He's going to think about going for Excalibur, but the March is being applied now as Johnny Krypton thinking about going in as well. Missiles are going to fly. Jabane Zero still dropping very low as Ancient Apparition does have an ultimate. Does he want to throw it right now? Because there are a couple of weak heroes for Bennett +5. Looks like he will throw it out first. And Jabane, Sniper, it's going to be a little bit off.
Unfortunate, yeah. Night Stalker, he was kind of juking it, expecting the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. Well played by the Night Stalker. It is always fun to watch those snipes come out, though. Excuse me. I'll probably need to take a drink after this, but rather, Excalibur is going to get a Blink Dagger finished at about 19 minutes in. It's not a great timing for your Blink, but he's still a relevant hero. Other item pickups, where we're still waiting on that Ancient Apparition, Aghanim Scepter, he's going to have it at a decent timing, getting very close towards his next component, and after that it's only 1,000 gold. Yeah, so 1,200 until he has that completed. Viper, with his mechanism, is now working towards power treads. IDFC has not been farming very well. As bad as the Tinker has been getting caught out, IDFC has also suffered a similar fate. 6 and 7 and 3 on your Viper, and 3 and 5 on your Tinker.
Not good times on this Viper, and he's been having some difficulty because he's just been focused constantly by the Wraith King and by the Ice Blast. Excalibur, as well as Wraith King, going to consistently push up this top lane. They don't really have much backup, which is a little bit risky, but I mean, there is going to be a jump in on Jabane Zero, and Slash Strike within the duration of that one small stun is going to take out the Night Stalker. Has more than enough damage with that Maelstrom. Black's also in the area, just going to sentry everything up. I don't think saw the Wraith King, although he should know that he's here regardless. Wraith King's feeling very comfortable in this area, despite the fact that he doesn't really have that much support. He's even thinking about going for the mid lane, as Jinx God is going to potentially get stunned up. Has a Blink Dagger, so he's very quick. He'll be able to dodge it. Not quick enough, and now he's pretty much screwed. Ice Blast is going to crush him. No, Tinker with missiles is going to do it, actually.
Yeah, there you go. Doom is going to fall in the mid lane. A fairly easy pickoff for House of Gamers. You have the global presence from Ancient Apparition as well as the Tinker to help you out. Now they find themselves a Blacks behind the tier 2 tower. He's going to be brought down very quickly. Wicked 6 streak for this Wraith King. Wraith King is having a very good time in this game. Spectre on the backlines picks off the Skywrath Mage, but she might lose her life. She's silenced up, and now with the Wraithfire Blast coming through, Johnny Krypton's going to die. Not worth at all. Ultimate being spent as well as only getting the Skywrath Mage. That's hashtag worth it for your Sky.
Yeah, the Diffusal Blade certainly making it very easy for the Spectre to get that kill, although it was also kind of suckering her into getting to a situation that she probably shouldn't have been in the first place. Excalibur's going to jump forward, wants to go for IDFC, pure damage galore. Now the clap as well as the follow-up Ice Blast is going to kill him off. Jabane Zero can do nothing but watch as his Viper goes down. Here comes the Doom, will kill off Excalibur for free, trying to rearm and TP out. Yeah, the TP was canceled by his death and the level death. Mini stun. Regardless, no tower is going to go down, but still House of Gamers are taking good fight after good fight. They're going to get quite a bit of gold advantage. In fact, upwards of 10k in both gold and experience. That's going to translate into a Wraith King Mjolnir. Almost an Aghanim Scepter for Brewmaster. Aghanim Scepter is completed for AA. These are just really terrifying items coming out from House of Gamers that aren't being replicated by Bennett +5.
Yeah. HOG, their Tinker's not really doing much, but the Ancient Apparition and Wraith King are definitely making up for the slack. Ancient Apparition, after the Aghanim Scepter, he doesn't really get a big boost of power, but with a Midas on a moment, Scythe Device is not completely out of the question. Just the utility items like Force Staff, Yule Scepter maybe, are always nice. And he'll be able to throw out these Ancient Apparition Ice Blasts, throwing one down towards bottom, as Johnny Krypton's going to be able to avoid that. It's kind of obvious that he's going to back off. Tinker might have wanted to save his TP until the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast landed, or maybe throw the Ice Blast behind where the Tinker's TPing. Either way, Excalibur is going to drop some marches and be annoying to Johnny Krypton, but I don't think there's a way that he'll be able to get this kill. Wraith King going to secure himself a bounty rune. With it Mjolnir as well as an ultimate online for Wraith King, he has not a care in the world.
What do you think the next move is for House of Gamers? They have all these tier 2 towers left to take, but their pushing actually isn't that good, so do you think they're just going to wait and try to get pickoffs, or do you think, well, I mean, they're kind of answering my question for me, but I don't think a straight push is really going to be what they want to be doing, because they do have to deal with this Doom, who has now a Blink Dagger, and as powerful as Wraith King is, when you're fighting into tier 2 towers like this, it could get really hairy, of course, if Bennett +5 want to defend.
And they're not going to do so. Tier 2 tower is going to be given away without any contest. With Aghanim Scepter now on the Brewmaster as well, if he doesn't get doomed, it could be pretty huge. Viper, I think Viper is dead, but he doesn't know it yet. IDFC is in a very precarious spot, getting wrapped around by too many heroes. He's just gonna straight up TP out. A good choice coming out from IDFC. Yeah, tier 2 tower up in top, however, since the Viper TP down towards bottom and isn't going to have a TP available for 45 seconds, this tier 2 tower up in top is probably also going to be forfeit. Even if they get a good Doom initiation, I'm not sure if it matters much.
Well, the rest of the House of Gamers, they're all just smoked up and waiting for some unlucky fool to run into them. It might be Blacks, although there is a good amount of observer vision here from the House of Gamers side, and the illusion from the Skywrath Mage actually is working against them because, well, Ben plus 5 think it's real, and they're not going to initiate. It's not going to happen. It is going to be regardless of tower going down in favor of House of Gamers, as Ben plus 5 are not going to be willing to make a defense here, just a little bit too risky. However, Slash Strike is going to be messing with JDL3 just a little bit. There's the silence, and he's going to try to put as much damage as he can, this Night Stalker, but the Mjolnir is going to return a lot of that damage. Ice Blast does come in, and JDL3 might just die to this. Yes, that is lethal. Also, Jinx God is going to focus down by the Brewmaster. That's going to be 2 kills in favor of House of Gamers. Slash Strike might lose his reincarnation here, although it's going to be very close. They have to kill this Catapult, and the poison shouldn't do it. This is going to be Slash Strike surviving and taking down the tier 2 tower. In the meantime, bottom lane was also slowly being pushed by the Tinker. Nothing but wins for House of Gamers. Ben plus 5, it feels like they just don't have enough heroes.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Slash Strike is now almost at 3,000 gold. He could go for whatever he wants to. A BKB would make him even more fearless than he already is. Honestly, if he just wanted to go for a Basher, I wouldn't fault him. H-Apparition gets caught out near the enemy base. Looking for a ward is going to be punished for it. He gets a ward, but that should be fairly obvious that happens. And with the ultimate being spent by the Spectre, the Skywrath Mage is also easy pickings.
Well, it's a nice little pickup for the Spectre. Really, she's the only hope at this point for Bennett plus 5. Viper's still semi-relevant, and Doom with the Blink Doom is going to be kind of relevant as well, but right now the Spectre just needs to get more kills and not die to Excalibur. That's not what they need to have happen. The Vit Booster is going to be picked up for the Spectre. It might just be casual, I wouldn't mind that. She just needs to be getting damage. Although with Spectre, health kind of does translate to damage because of the way Dispersion behaves. She really needs to be able to focus down people really quickly and contribute a huge impact to their team by killing off the enemy heroes, so that, well, thereby eliminating their impact for the respective team. So Spectre's going to need a lot more time. That's the bottom line. And right now, House of Gamers, they're split pushing everything. With the Tinker, is kind of to be expected. And these Ice Blasts as well. It's really dangerous for anyone to be anywhere on the map, honestly.
Yeah, it really is. They've kept themselves safe for now. Excalibur, Blink TP away. I think he's going to survive. The Spectral Dagger is going to land, but there's no way to cancel that TP. Void is too far away. So the Spectre, it's kind of a close call, but even if he died there, they'd get a tier 2 tower out of it, so it's not all bad for House of Gamers. And this Tinker is starting to get some farm, but he's putting it into a Bloodstone. Excalibur just wants to push out lanes as much as possible with the rest of his team. It's not going to be like a bursty Tinker that we're used to seeing with the Dagon Ethereal Blade. It's just going to be a Tinker that's more or less going to avoid the team fights at all costs, and allow this Wraith King, Ancient Apparition, Brewmaster to handle the dirty work for him. He'll probably jump in for a couple of lasers and rockets, but it's not his primary focus. Is Johnny Krypton getting jumped on in bottom lane. Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, as well as Wraithfire Blast, landing onto a Mjolnir pop on Slash Strike. Slash Strike taking a lot of damage from Dispersion as well as right clicks, and he will fall down. Johnny Krypton is going to be able to get off to the sidelines. I think he survives, but Black's not so lucky. He will fall. Johnny Krypton, his Spectral Dagger has worn off, and he's kind of stuck in an awkward situation. There's another one as they blow up the Viper, getting very close to bringing him down. There you go. After coming back from the reincarnation, Slash Strike's going to be just fine. They doom up Excalibur, but the Blade Mail on the Doom isn't going to do much more damage on top of it, and Excalibur doesn't care. He's just right-clicking for all he's worth. The Spectre is going to jump back in here as the Night Stalker is going to be obliterated. They're still chasing down Doom with Excalibur as well as SLAC. The Clap is going to miss, and now Jinx God is probably going to make it out alive. Let's see, looking for the TP. Blade Mail is first. They don't have enough damage, and they can't
Ice
see.
Blast.
Ooh, that is going to kill the Doom and the Spectre. Boom.
Oh, 360 no scope. Ancient Apparition predicting the TP. I think he was just trying to get the Spectre. Didn't anticipate to get the double kill, but hell, Ancient Apparition's going to be really happy about that one. 4 down for Bennett plus 5 as House of Gamers, they still have all of their heavy hitters up, and they're going to go for Blacks. They will not get him yet, but there it is. Big crit from Slash Strike, and it's beyond godlike streak for him. They're going to take down this bottom lane of Raxes, and Bennett plus 5, they have buyback on the Spectre. They can mount a 3-hero defense, but I don't think that's good enough. They're going to lose this tier 3 tower at the very least.
I think this is at least one lane. They still have reincarnation on Slash Strike. He doesn't care. He has Mjolnir, and he can just run at them. Yeah, with Spectre not spending her buyback, no Haunt available, I don't think it matters. This tier 3 tower is going to fall, and then the barracks are probably soon after going to drop as well. They're splitting their focus on both of them, but I think they can do this. Now they're just going to bop the range barracks a couple more times and back off. They're really under no pressure. The Spectre Diffusal Blade Vitality Booster Drums, it's a nice value build, but it's not going to kill the entire enemy team in a haunt. In fact, hardly hurts anybody, the exception being Skywrath Mage, who is focused time and time again in that ultimate, but if that's all that the Spectre can do, you're completely fine. And the item choice for Wraith King is going to be, I don't know, kind of in between Basher and BKB. It's going to be a Scotty. It allows him to stick onto targets like Blacks, who's crit to death immediately. Yeah, Slash Strike finding a very easy pick off. This Shadow Demon is just not having a fun game, and it's not entirely his fault. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast almost kills him straight up, has to be forced to use Defensive Disruption, and Slash Strike just slashes and strikes him down. Yeah, I don't know, Scotty, I don't think it matters what Wraith King gets, as long as it's an item, and he has it.
Really, the only downside of picking up a Scotty is that it's really expensive. There are pretty much no heroes where I would say Scotty is a bad item. I would just say that there are better items to get. And this is another one of those situations where Scotty is going to give Wraith King the sticking power that he really wants, as well as a whole mix of stats, which he is also perfectly okay with. So it's a perfect item for the Wraith King, although it's kind of expensive so you don't see it. But now the Ice Blast is going to come in. SLHG is already doomed up, so it's most likely not going to be split. But Jinx God is already down as well. SLHG is going to be focused down by Johnny Krypton. But in the meantime, the back end, Slash Strike's going to try to go for this Viper. The Mystic Flare is going to whiff on the Shadow Demon's Disruption, but that will be the death of the Viper regardless. The Slash Strike really just wants to get his reincarnation up. Johnny Krypton is being chased down by a moment in the meantime. The last hero, one of the last heroes to survive for Bennett +5 is going to be TP out for Johnny Krypton. He will survive, but the Rax is not going to be as lucky. That was a 1-for-3 trade, and pretty much Bennett +5, they can't take a better fight than that. They use the Haunt, they have Spectre in the backlines killing everyone, and they get the Doom on the Panda, but still they all die because they're just so far behind at this stage.
Yeah, that's going to be your first lane of barracks, and it's going to be pretty easy for HOG to replicate that. They'll have their Brewmaster back up. There's going to be a little bit of a window where Doom's not online where they have the split, but I'm not sure that actually matters. Next lane they're going to go to, 3 towers is going to fall without much of a contest from Bennett +5. They might try to defend this Rax, but right now it's just looking so grim for them. If there's a hero that can 1v5 the enemy team, it's Spectre, but not when you don't have all of your items, and they are just too far behind. Melee Barracks is going to be focused down as they jump on to nothing. They're just going to focus on objective gaming, and it is going to work out for them. As Melee Barracks is going to fall, that's 2 lanes completed. Or will it? Yeah, Slash Strike, just finish it off. There you go.
Yep, so 2 Raxes down, and Bennett +5. Can they actually do anything to come back from this? I would say probably not. Alright, so Blacks is going to call GG, and House of Gamers is going to take the series 2-0.
Yeah, it's going to be House of Gamers getting into Division 1 after this game, or at least getting very close to it. It's, I don't know, a very convincing 2-0 coming out from them. The Excalibur Tinker was lackluster. I was expecting more from you. But yeah, it's okay. It worked out for them. The Wraith King had a blast. The Ancient Apparition got a 6-minute Midas on a support, and it was pretty easy from there. House of Gamers consistently had a lead, and were able to turn that into a pretty convincing win.
Alright, so what I think we learned from this, support Night Stalker doesn't really work, especially with the Shadow Demon. Both of them didn't have any impact for pretty much the entire game, and I mean, he has the least fantasy points. That clearly means he did the worst, right?
I think so too. I would love to see Night Stalker as a support work, but you need to get another aggressive support, or heroes that can actually kill in lane. Spectre, Doom, don't cut the cake. Well, that's going to round things out. I think that's the only series we actually have going on today on HeflaTV too. If you like the casting here, you can follow us on HeflaTV on Twitter and Facebook, as well as here on Twitch. And, well, you can find the VODs. They'll be uploaded in a couple of hours to youtube.com/HeflaMoke if you want to share the games with your friends or just watch them again for pleasure. That's where you can find them. I've been GrandisV, he's been Mike Loris, and on our personal Twitch and Twitter accounts, you can find us at GrandisV and at Mike Loris, pretty easy there. So, thanks for watching. GG both teams.
GG, guys.